Shabbat Shalom Shabbatah. Happy Sabbath, Sabbath family. Welcome back to Flipping Pages, Stirring Sauces. And for those of you who have liked, shared, and subscribed, my gratitude. And I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe. Where do I start? I would like to request your support at my online store. It's called New and Previously Loved Items, and you can find it on GoDaddy.com. I can't talk tonight. And you might find stuff like this there. This is a Art Deco vintage necklace with Murano glass and crystals, and it also has semi-precious gemstones. You might find stuff like that there. Actually, you will find this there. And you might find outfits like the one I'm wearing there as well. Yes. Yeah. You might find stuff like that there. And tonight it's a very serious topic. And I have a couple of stories to tell you. I will start out with when I was 16 years old, and I was at school where I was supposed to be minding my own business, standing up against the wall, people watching. And there was this girl who didn't go to the school, who came to the school looking for somebody with my last name. She was there to fight with this person because this person was trying to steal her man. And the person she was looking for had my last name. Everybody knew me by my last name. And eventually somebody said, "Oh, that's her standing over there." And she came over and accused me of trying to steal her man. And at first I just ignored her and continued people watching. And then she accused me again of stealing her man. So I basically said to her, if he was your man and you're doing everything a woman should do for your man, he would have no reason to step out on you. I had no idea who this girl was. And I went back to ignoring her. And the bell rang for me to go to class. And I turned my back on this girl, headed for my class. This girl grabbed me from behind. I can't remember which side, but I know if I feel very hard, I will still find the scars from the fingernails. She jammed into the back of my neck when she attacked me. So at that point, I could no longer ignore her, and I was going to defend myself. And when I get angry, I used to get angry to the point where I black out. I don't remember anything about what happened. And all I know is this girl grabbed me in the back of my neck. And the next thing I knew is that my friends were hiding me in the bathroom. I was standing on the toilet bowl, and the principal was looking for whoever was in this fight. And my friends told the principal that, oh, it was two girls who don't go to school here. And I can still remember what I was wearing. I was wearing some brown suede North Star running shoes, burgundy pants with braids down the sides, and I was wearing a green silky blouse with like a snake pattern on it, and I was wearing these earrings. They're 18 karat gold earrings, which were given to me by my mom the week before. 18 karat gold ruby. These earrings have rubies in them, and they were given to me by my mom just the week before, and that was a long time ago because I was 16 years old at the time. But anyway, I was in the bathroom and I was thinking to myself, could I have handled this differently so that it didn't escalate to where it escalated to? And I decided that I could have handled it differently. I could have gone to the principal's office and complained that these strangers who didn't go to my school was there trying to pick a fight with me. But at the time, I didn't think to do that. My whole thing was just ignore it and it will go away. But it was later revealed to me later on in life that even if I had gone to the principal's office, she would have still attacked me on the way there because she was at my school to fight whoever was trying to steal her man. I later learned there was blood on my shoe, and I wondered how it got there. And, you know, my friends were saying to me, oh, you really did that girl bad. And what had happened when she attacked me and I decided to defend myself, the entire front of my shoe ended up in her vagina. She was 3 months pregnant. She was wearing a skirt. And my foot, my shoes, and her underwear ended up on the inside of her vagina. I learned that later on, that is what had happened to her, because I knew how to defend myself. My brothers made sure of that. And I felt bad for her. But at the same time, I was where I was supposed to be, behaving myself. I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who I was. She wasn't even sure she had the right person, because there was more than one person in that school with that last name. Anyway, my grandmother, who had left my mom's house in over a year and hadn't been there in over a year because my mom brought her to Canada, but after a while she decided to go live with my aunt, made her way to my mother's house that she didn't even know where we lived, because when she left, we were living in a different location and we had moved to Gerard and Leslie, and she found her way from Beverly and Dundas to my mother's house to tell my dad that I was at school fighting over a man. And I was so happy to see my grandmother, but she didn't greet me in a happy, welcoming way, and I knew right away something was wrong. Anyway, she complained to my father that I was at school fighting over a man, and my father didn't ask me any questions. He took the strap to me, and his whole thing while he was letting me have it with that strap is, I sent you to school for an education. I didn't send you to school to look man. My cousin, who didn't know what had taken place, just heard that I was in a fight, went and told my grandmother that I was fighting over a man. And I made a decision that day that if I have to fight for a man in any form, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. He doesn't belong to me, and I want nothing to do with him. And I made a decision that day that unless I am the only woman in that man's life, I'm not going to be in his life. I want my own table spread specifically for me. I don't want to share the food on my table with somebody else. I also made a decision that nobody was ever going to put their hands on me again unless their name was Cicely Caroletta Sims. Anybody who put their hand on me again wasn't going to get away with it. I wasn't going to stand for it. And a year later, when my dad put his hand on me again, I ended up being kicked out of the house because I intended to keep that promise that I had made to myself. And yeah, so I got a royal beating because my father didn't care about what my reasons for fighting over a man were. I had embarrassed him, I had embarrassed the family, and it was worse because my grandmother found out about it. Anyway, I'm going to tell you about another man. A man who I used to say hello to him, and he used to say hello to me. And I remember one day I said hello to him and he didn't answer me. And so I didn't say hello to him anymore. And about a year had passed, and I'd seen that man before. I had admired that man before. I saw him walking across a parking lot, and I thought he was so handsome. And the way he wore his hat, it was rolled it up on the sides and it just sat on the top of his head. And it looked so nice and so different. I admired him and I went about my business. And yeah, so I would see him from time to time. And we said hello, like I said, and then one day he didn't respond to me saying hello to him. And so, yeah. But anyway, after about a year, I was sitting in the cafeteria having lunch, and I noticed him looking at me. And I just pretended I didn't see him. And then when it was time to go back to lunch, I left the cafeteria and he was walking behind me, and he caught up to me, and I was wearing this ring, but it was on this finger, and he said to me, "You married?" I said yes and no, and I left it at that. And after that, he invited me to come and eat at his table. And I ate at his table on that invitation. And then the next day I went back to sit at the table I normally sit at with the friends I normally had lunch with. And he seemed a little perturbed by that. But anyway, he invited me to his table again. And I went, and then this man started sneaking off from his work site to come and see me at my work site. And he would come and help me do my work. And eventually he started telling me how much he was in love with me and he wanted to be with me. And I did everything to push this man away because every time I thought about him, I heard the word, I didn't hear them, I felt the words, wife beater. And so that caused my antennas to go up. And had a conversation with somebody else about him, and I said to this other person, what do you feel when I talk to you about this person? And the individual I spoke to said to me, I saw him slapping a woman so hard. She has the ability to see things. Slapped her right out, and this individual described to me what he was wearing, and funny enough, what she described is the same outfit that I had seen. And so I was up in arms about being involved with this man. Like, I had made up my mind that no matter how much this man said he loved me, I wasn't going to be with him. And this man, every day, this man came to see me every day, and he would tell me how much he loved me, and how much he wanted to be with me. And I basically said, I'm not interested in a relationship. And the next relationship I get involved in is a forever relationship with somebody that I can build with and grow old with. I'm not looking for a fling or a meaningless relationship or a physical relationship. What I want is somebody to spend the rest of my life with and grow old. And then he said to me, well, those are the same things I want. And I still wasn't giving in. I still wasn't interested. My children were my focus at the time. They were my number one priority, and at that point I had made the decision that I don't want a man in my life. I don't want anybody abusing my children, and nobody is gonna love them as much as their father loves them. And I don't want any confusion. I don't want my children to be confused, and I don't want any added stress in their lives. And when I made the decision that things were over between me and their father, I had also made the decision that until they were adults, there wouldn't be a man in my life. I made the decision that they would never see me with a man. And I met that man in November, and every day this man came to see me and try to convince me how good he was for me, and how wonderful life would be with him. And he had all these plans for us. And in February he decided to take a vacation, and he took that vacation by himself. And while he was on that vacation, I realized, oh my goodness, I miss this man. I can't wait for him to come back. I can't wait for him to come back and tell me how much in love he is with me and how wonderful things can be between us. And I realized that I was developing very strong feelings for this man. And he didn't call me. He was supposed to call me while he was on vacation, and he didn't call me. And that kind of concerned me. I didn't have a number for him where I could reach him. I didn't even have his phone number. I never asked for it, and he never offered it. And anyway, he did ask for my number, and I had given it to him, but he never called me. And so anyway, he didn't come back when he said he was coming back, and I was really worried and really concerned about him, and I was checking to see if anybody had heard from him, and nobody had. Anyway, he eventually came back, and when he did, he came right into the cafeteria, and he hugged me and kissed me on my forehead, and like, you know, he's never done anything like that before. And he said to me, you know, there was only one thing wrong with my vacation: you were not there. And so I told him that I'd missed him, and that I think I'd fallen for him. And he said, yeah, I know you've told everybody else but me. And I didn't tell everybody else. I had told one person, the one person he had left to drive all the men away. But so things went on, and eventually a relationship developed, and this man treated me like I was a princess. I felt so special. This man would pick me up to hug me. He would pick me up to kiss me. And, you know, I noticed that he was buying lunch all the time. Like every day he would buy lunch. And so I decided one day I was going to bring him lunch. And I brought him lunch, and I remember I spread a table for him, spread a table like I was spreading a dining room table for him, and served him with a knife and fork. And all the other men were looking like, who is this girl? What is going on here? Huh? Like, you know, everybody eyes were on us. And that became a regular thing. For, you know, for me to bring his lunch and serve him. And you know, the way this man made me feel like I was so special. And I wasn't allowed to put gas in my car anymore. For 2 years, I didn't touch a gas pump. For 2 years, I never washed my car. For 2 years, I never cleaned snow off my car. We had plans. And when I went on vacation, this man gave me pocket money. When he threw his partner, he threw a hand for me. And when I tried to give him the money, he said, if I ever need it, I will ask you for it. And yeah, he threw a hand for me. And I'm thinking, you know, they say this about Jamaican men, and they say that about Jamaican men, but, you know, Jamaican men, they do know how to take care of a woman and how to make her feel special. And Jamaican men are the only men I know who give a woman who is fully employed and fully able and capable of taking herself pocket money. And when I got finished working, he would be waiting outside for me with my cup of hot tea. Or if it was summertime, he would be waiting with a cold drink for me. And sometimes that man would drive half hour just to bring me a drink, because he knew that in the area where I lived, that special drink was not available. So he would literally drive half hour to spend 2 minutes with me to give me a drink. And people would tease him and say things like, "You must really love that girl." And that man used to pick me up and carry me in his arms like you would a little baby. And he would often hold me like that, like a little baby in his arms. And we had plans for the future. We made plans for our old age. And I remember one time he said to me, "If you're ever in a restaurant with me and you hear the song, My Nubian Queen, or She's a Queen, she's royal, playing, know that I'm about to propose marriage to you." And this man, like I said, treated me like a princess. But that part of me that warns me of danger, was constantly trying to warn me, and I kept pushing it aside. I kept saying that whatever happens between us, I want it to happen naturally. I don't want to tap into him and find out what's going on with him, because that would be unfair, because I would have an advantage over him. And there were times when I could literally feel that man caressing my body, and I would get flashes, but it was him caressing somebody else's body, and the flashes were of him with someone else. And I would confront him and I would ask him, if there was someone else, and he always denied it. And one day he said to me, "Even if I get caught in the act, I would still deny it." And I that told me a lot. But I'm happy to say that that man has never put his hand on me. The only time that man put his hand on me was to caress my body, and never put his hand on me out of anger. And we never really had like an argument. We had discussions, and I would say things to him and I would shut down. And he was always very quick to forgive, and he was very gentle and very generous with me, and spoiled me rotten. And I never had to ask him for anything. And anyway, he had my phone number for a long time, and he never called me. And I did ask him for his number, and he didn't give it to me. And So I didn't ask again. And but one day I got this call on my phone, and I didn't know who it was. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to return the call because I don't know who it is. This person is not saved in my phone. So, and he said to me, well, maybe you should dial the number, call the number back and see who it is. And I called the number back, and it was his number. And I very rarely used that number. He did most of the calling, and he made it a point to see me every day. And this man had 2 full-time jobs. And after his 2 full-time jobs, he would spend time with me. He made sure to have lunch with me every day. And I remember one night we were sitting in his vehicle. It was the night after his birthday, and somebody pulled up and parked right next to us. And I said to him, that has never happened before. And we were in our spot. You know how couples have a spot they go to spend time with each other? That was our spot. And not only did this person pull up, but this person got out of her vehicle, and she was trying to open his car door like she was coming in to take her man. You know, she was, and he opened the door. He unlocked the door and she opened it. And, you know, she's demanding of him, where are you supposed to be? And I'm thinking, who the heck is this woman? And why is she demanding from him where, you know, where are you supposed to be? And he was saying to me that, you know, I'm not going to stay with you too long because I have a headache and I have to go. And then she says to him, and why is she looking at me like that? So I said to him, what is going on here? Who is this? And he's saying to me, oh, don't worry about it, you know, and, you know, trying to fluff her off and stuff. And then she said to him, yeah, what is going on here? And, you know, why is she looking at me like that? I'm recording. And so I said to her, can I speak with you outside? And I got out of the vehicle and I went outside to talk with her. And he left. And so her and I had a talk. And I said to her, so are you two involved? And she said, yes. And I said, how long? And she said, 6 months. And here she was thinking that I was the side chick. I said, well, we've been together 2 years. And I said to her, he has 2 full-time jobs. He spends time with me every day. We have lunch together every day. When does he have time to be with you? She said, in the mornings. And I'm thinking that's impossible, because he talks to me every morning on his way to work. And So I said to her, have you ever been to his house? She said, no. I said, so where do you guys get together? And she said, motels. Or he comes to my house. And I said, where did he tell you that he lives? And she says, oh, he lives in Brampton. That man had not lived in Brampton for about 4 years. I said, no, he lives in Scarborough. And she said, oh, okay. I live in Pickering. And that's why when he comes to see me, he gets there so fast, because he's not coming from Brampton, he's coming from Pickering. Yeah, so this wonderful man who treated me like a princess was involved in another full-time relationship. I was devastated. And I said to her, you know what? I have no interest in him anymore. He's all yours. And she said to me, oh, no, I'm done with him. He's a liar. And, you know, she says, oh, yeah, she was saying, you know, when we're together, the phone is always going. And before she showed up, his phone was ringing like crazy, like more than usual. And I said to him, answer it. And, you know, he was saying to me, oh, it's just so-and-so, and, you know, I'll call him back. And I said, you know, answer it. Just answer it so he stops calling. But it wasn't so-and-so, it was her calling him, because he was supposed to get together with her that night. But he had gotten me my tea, and the thing is, when him and I sit down to talk, we could talk for hours, or we could just cuddle up in each other's arms and don't say a word for hours. And so he had stood her up, because I guess he didn't want to break routine with me. And yeah, I was devastated. And I just basically told him, like, he had called her several times while we were talking. He didn't call me, but he had called her. The funny thing is, he had told me about her. But he told me, oh, she drives this vehicle and I like that vehicle. And so he got rid of his car and got the exact same vehicle she got. So he had told me about her about 6 months before that. And I knew who she was. Because get this is a disrespectful part about it. Her and I worked in the same building. We worked feet apart. And that showed a lack of respect. And anyway, he spent months trying to get me back. Months and months and months, and telling me how much he loved me and he missed me. And he sent me so many messages and songs. What he couldn't say in words, he said with songs. And I wasn't budging. And he told me he didn't even know her name. And I said, it's funny, you have a 6-month relationship with somebody and you don't know her name. And he never called me by my name. He always called me baby girl or boom boom. And one time he actually called me by my name. And it sounded so different, but so nice. I loved the way he said my name. And so anyway, I noticed that her and him still had conversations, and then he tried to tell me that there was nothing going on between them, but she used to say hello to me, and then it got to the point where she couldn't look me in the eyes anymore. So I knew that things were still on between them. And then I saw them together. And you know, that kind of did it for me. That cemented the fact that I had made the right decision to stay away from him and not to give him another chance. And shortly after I seen them together, they didn't know I saw them together. They didn't know I was where I was. And then I would see them together, and she would be like the body language, the way she was standing next to him, you know, said, you know, this is my man. And more power to them. He was still sending me songs, and it's funny, I would listen to the songs when he sent them, but I didn't get the message in the songs. And it wasn't until a year later I was cleaning up my messages in my phone, and I was listening to these songs, and they were all songs of men who had done women wrong and pouring their heart out to the woman, trying to get her back. At the time he sent those messages, I didn't get them, but they wouldn't have made a difference. The message was delivered a year later, but and I remember one night I was driving home, and I felt, you know, he's gonna call you tonight, and if you take that call, you'll be right back where you were. So you can have your proposal tonight, but just know that when you accept that proposal tonight, you're accepting to share a man for the rest of your life. And I was in the car, and that song, She's Royal, So Royal, came on, and my head was full of thoughts of him, you know, and I was thinking, my gosh, this man said to me that if you're ever in a restaurant and you hear this song playing, know that your wedding proposal is coming. And as soon as the song started playing, my phone started ringing. I hadn't spoken to this man in months, and it was him. And I felt those words again. You can answer it and share this man for the rest of your life, or you can listen to this song and enjoy the memories and be happy that you have those memories. I chose to listen to the song and be happy with the memories, because it was so much easier and less painful to love this man from a distance. And I'm telling you, that man took me to places I had never been before, in more ways than one. And when I tell you that I was treated like royalty by him, I was. He's a good man, but he's a weak man when it comes to women. Because not only did this man have a full-time relationship with me and a full-time relationship with this other girl, because when it got to a point where sometimes I didn't make him lunch. This was before all of this went to hell. And he would bring sandwiches, and the sandwiches they were so nice and so neat, and the edges were cut off. And I said to him, those sandwiches look like they were made by a woman. He said, no, I made them. Not only was this man having a full-time relationship with me and a full-time relationship with this other woman, he was very married. Yeah. And I have my memories, and they are beautiful memories. They are wonderful memories, but they are memories of lessons learned. If a man doesn't call you by your name, he's not yours. If you cannot call him up and be with him in his space, he's not yours. He's not yours. If you cannot be with him in his space, he's not yours. He doesn't call you by your name, he's not yours. Because everybody is baby girl. And if he doesn't take you certain places, if he doesn't introduce you to his family, if the only person he introduces you to is his best friend, he's not yours. And lately, I've been seeing some disturbing things in the news. Schoolgirls in uniforms behaving like thugs. Now, I saw these schoolgirls in the bathroom, and one was trying to shove the other one's face in the toilet bowl, and her friends were there videotaping it and talking about a so gal get beat. And when she couldn't push her down into the toilet bowl, she slammed her head against the wall in the bathroom, knocked her out cold. These are schoolgirls. They are thugs in school uniforms. There was another one where two girls were fighting in school uniforms, and one stabbed the other right below her eye, all the way down, from here to here, dug out a piece of her flesh. Every time that girl looks in the mirror, she will remember that she got that stab in her face because she was fighting over a man while in school uniform, and she has that reminder for the rest of her life. She could have lost an eye. And there was another one where this little boy, this piece of garbage, slapped this girl in the face, and she slapped him back, and he grabbed her in her chest and dragged her across the way and slapped her again while his friends watched and videotaped. And he was doing that because he didn't want her interacting with his friends. Little girl, that is a piece of garbage. If a man put his hand on you, he's a piece of garbage, and if you can't knock him out, get somebody else to do it. If a man did that to me, no matter what is going on between my brothers and myself, no matter what argument we have, if a man did that to me, they would hear from my brothers. Actually, a man once attacked me in the park because he made a move on me and I turned him down, and he felt that he could put his hand on me. Well, he was very sorry in less than 5 minutes, because my brother, I want to tell you what happened to him when my brother got finished with him. My brothers do not play when it comes to their sisters. They are very overprotective of us. And like I said, them and I could have just had a knockdown, drag out argument. They're not gonna let anybody put their hands on us. And this boy is in school uniform, okay? In high school. In high school, he's slapping a girl in her face. Not even a father should be allowed to do that to his daughter. What is his father teaching him? What is he seeing being done to his mother? And people are standing around okay with that. This video is getting a little lengthy, but it's important. And there was another video of a girl in the bathroom with her friends, and they had this boy sitting in a chair and her friends videotaping, and he is trying to get this boy to put his face in her crotch, her dirty little crotch that she probably doesn't even know how to wash properly, in a school uniform, cocked up on wherever she was with her legs open, and forcing this boy's head between her legs. Young man, that piece of filth doesn't respect you. If she respected you, she would never subject you to that. What adults do in their bedroom is their business. But when you are going to, and this poor little boy, he didn't want to do it. When you're going to force a man's head or a little boy's head between your legs, when you should be in school, studying and getting an education, and a lot of you leave school and you don't know A from bullfoot, and you're pushing a little boy's face between your legs. You think anybody could do that to any of my brothers? And you're doing it in front of your friends, and you expect that boy to respect you? Is that somebody that you want a future with? And little boy, is that a girl you want a future with? That's tramp. That's garbage. It's a piece of trash. That's not somebody you plan a future with. That's a woman who's, that's a little tramp who is going to abuse you mentally, physically, socially, emotionally. That's a little tramp who is not going to allow you to be a man in your home when you become a man. Because she's making you do what she wants you to do in front of her friends now. What is that going to morph into? That's what we refer to in Jamaica as tegerege, tegreg, sketel. When you are truly interested in a man, you treat that man with respect. And you demand respect from him. And you demand that respect by the way you treat him and with your actions. And you know what? That man, the one I was telling you about before, he's never heard me raise my voice to him. I've never said an unkind word to him. And he's never raised his voice at me. And I remember he was supposed to come see me one day and he didn't. And his excuse was, "You think I want you to yell at me?" And I said to him, if you really knew me, you wouldn't use it as an excuse. Have I ever raised my voice at you? For me, it's the opposite. When I become quiet, I'm dangerous. And when I'm really quiet, it's because I'm angry. Because when I get angry, I go inside. I go inside because when I get angry, I can say things that are hurtful. And so, in order to control my temper and to prevent myself from hurting people with my words, I stay quiet and I go inside. And I can go inside for weeks, I can go inside for months, I can go inside for years, until I'm ready to talk to you. But you're not gonna get me yelling and screaming at you and making a scene and embarrassing you in public. That is not my style. And when that girl came that night, and when I saw where it was going, I calmly and quietly asked her to have dialogue with me, because I had no intentions of fighting with her for a man who didn't respect me. Because if he respected me, he would not have gotten involved with a woman who works feet away from me. What's the other thing? And it takes me to Donna Lee Donaldson, who lost her life over an undeserving piece of garbage. If a man is sharing you with another woman. He doesn't love you. He doesn't respect you. And if you have to fight over a man, it doesn't belong to you. Walk away. Walk away. And no matter how painful it is, tell yourself, he's not mine. He does not belong to me. He belongs to somebody else. And that girl, just beautiful. She could get almost any man she wanted. Because from what I've heard, she was a sweet, gentle, giving, loving person who put others first, who thought about others. Night, son. Love you. And she lost her life over a scum of society. I can't tell you what I felt about that man, that piece of garbage, who cost her her life. Killing somebody is the norm for him. He's got no soul. And there's a big cover-up going on. But Donna Lee will get her justice. She doesn't deserve to go out like that. And now, ha! Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There wasn't one baby in the picture. There wasn't one baby in the picture. Donna Lee lost her life because she had life within her. And that piece of garbage is trying to cover things up. He's a thug, he's a criminal. Which police officer in Jamaica lives like that? She lost her life over a piece of garbage. And now his life is ruined. The other piece of garbage in uniform that he was involved with, her life is ruined. Their child's life is ruined. And Donna Lee lost her life, but she will get justice. This one isn't going to go away. It's not going to be swept under the carpet. It's on the international stage. But that case needs to be taken out of Jamaica completely. Can anyone say Privy Council? Can anyone say an international court? It's gonna take a little while, but Donna Lee will get her justice. Do not lower your standards. There are so many men out there. You don't have to share a man. You don't have to eat off of a table that is spread for somebody else. Demand your own table. And there's nothing wrong with being single and being happy and being alive. Don't lower your standards. In Jamaica, them say every hoe them stick a bush. You will find your stick. Sometimes it just takes a little while. Have some self-respect. And those girls stabbing up each other and fighting over men, and if I was the principal of those schools, they couldn't set foot back in those schools. When I lived in Jamaica, they had a thing called reformatory school. These girls, these thugs in dresses, need to go to reformatory school. They need to be put in the army. They should be put in the army where they will have a routine. They will learn discipline. They will learn how to respect their fellow man. And they won't have any time on their hands for foolishness. They will have a routine. They will learn discipline, respect, and manners. What kind of children are Jamaican parents turning out? And I now understand why my father bust my ass. I was totally innocent in this situation. But I should have prevented. I should have found a way to prevent what happened from happening. But my condolences to Donna Lee's family and friends. It's a bitter pill to swallow. But that poor excuse for a man will get his. And that woman, she will get hers. And I don't care what that Officer Brown said. He was there. He was there. And he thought that his connections could help him to get away with it. And the other piece of garbage, his sidekick, his buddy, the other woman in his life. Yeah. They thought their connections could help them cover this up. It's on the world stage. It's not going anywhere, and justice will be served in one way or another. And you know what? Jungle justice is best served cold. I am at peace with myself. I am at peace with my world. And I'm at peace with my Creator, the Ancient of Days, Yahweh, Ahaya, Hi. I wish you Baruch, Ahab, and Shalom.